Oxford professor this week warned that students must break the spell of decolonisation theory in education. Professor Nigel Biggar, who is Regius Professor of Moral Theology, said the ideology which he says is rife in education is anti-rational and should be open to interrogation. Decolonisation isn't just an eccentric idea confined to education, though. This week, the city of Edinburgh apologised for its past role in slavery and colonialism. This shows the institutional power the concept holds itself. But is it sound, or is it merely undermining the West's self-confidence and painting an inaccurate image of the past with potentially disastrous consequences? Now, joining me is Elliot Reid, who is the founder of Black History School, which is an educational resource in favour of the concept of decolonising education. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your time today. Can you please paint the picture, what to you is Black history?
What to me is Black history?
Yes, because your organisation is centred around that, isn't it?
Yes, my tutor, or my teacher, Robin Walker, he expresses to me quite clearly Black history in the context of, say, Britain and being a British person would be my take, or the collection of the information I have gathered on the history of the predecessors of Black individuals who live in the UK, so majoritively West African and West Indian. Obviously, or Black history is a massive topic. It's much larger than what I've covered, but for myself, that's what I've covered for the education of myself and individuals who want to learn from our content. Okay, so is your organisation,
Black History School, looking to put more of this so-called Black history onto the curriculum?
No,
is that the same as decolonising the curriculum?
No, the curriculum was actually set up in request of the school that I went to. So I went to a school in Gravesend, and they wanted more information on the heritage of the Black children in their school. And I'd been studying Black history for some time, so I set it up for them and for the education of individuals of the West African diaspora, such as myself. And then it's an optional tool for schools to use to educate their children on Black history.
Okay, I just find it fascinating because I always say that, we don't teach history based on white history or Black history. We just teach British history, European history, world history, all the history that's helped shape the nation to what it has become today. But on the basis of that, do you think Edinburgh, in your opinion, was right to apologise for, essentially the sins of their fathers?
It's an emotional topic, so it completely depends on how emotionally you're aligned. But I think you could argue it either way. You could argue that the apology isn't going to have a tangible outcome on what's actually happened. But then I think you can also make the argument that there's a lot of people who are going to appreciate the apology. But one thing which I found quite interesting is that, to me, the apology, or projecting emotions for something which has occurred in the past, seems to be quite British to me. So, for example, we give thanks and remembrance for those individuals who served in World War II. We remember and express grief for those who were lost in the Holocaust. I don't understand why that is too dissimilar for apologising for a whole millions of people who served for the benefit of Britain, yet received no thanks or no reward for their work. I suppose that comes down to,
Elliot, because we're remembering the horrors of war and remembering the people that fought for us to survive and for our way of life to survive. Whereas this apology, the Lord Provost said, he apologised to all those who suffered profound physical and mental abuse from the city's past involvement in colonialism and slavery. I mean, he's apologising to people who don't exist. No one alive suffered physical and mental abuse from slavery, from the transatlantic slave trade at least. So it doesn't really compute, does it? It doesn't make much sense.
So that's the reason why I think there's both sides. So once again, there's the individuals who did serve and died in World War I and World War II. Hardly of them are alive today, but we still express thanks for them improving the life that we live today. And when it comes to, say, for example, my ancestors in Jamaica, there's no doubt about it that their work has significantly changed the way that British people live and the luxuries that they have to live with. So I don't understand, once again, the difference between a remembrance, a thank, and an apology. I think someone has to distinguish that to me to make the argument.
I think you put forward a very sensible argument, and we have to remember the opposite way around is possible too, in that British colonialism and the empire also enabled a lot of positives in places like Jamaica too, and building.
So I would like, Calvin, I would actually like you to expand on that, please, because I haven't heard.
I would love to, but we don't have the time now. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about that in the future. But I think there are many, many positives.
You can't do that.
Oh, I can. We've got to go. You're watching Calvin's Common Sense Crusade with me, Calvin Robinson, and we'll have you back another time to discuss that.